welcome to the Rock Your Dream Body Graduate Success Story Interview Series. Today, we are talking with Dee, who is a graduate of the Immersion program, the Rock Your Dream Body Immersion program. And as I've mentioned in past interviews, this is one of the most requested things that I get from women that are in the Rock Your Dream Body community or that stumble upon my message, because I feel like it's such an important thing to hear from other women who have already sort of been down this path and maybe several steps ahead or many steps ahead of where we're at when we begin on this journey of self-discovery and self-love and nourishing our way towards our dream body goals, whatever that may be for us. So first and foremost, I want to welcome you, Dee. Thank you so much for taking the time today to chat.
Thank you very much, Sheila, for having me on. I'm a little nervous and very excited to be here, though.
Yeah, well, I think of this just as like a girl talk, you know, if it's just the two of us sitting down in your living room, chatting about your story and really sort of, you know, talking about the things that we discovered together throughout the program. We worked together one-on-one, so Dee and I had private sessions together as she was going through the Immersion program. And I just really want to honor that courage that it takes sometimes to talk about your story publicly, but also to kind of recognize that it really is just like us girls all just sitting around chatting, right? Like that's who's listening to this interview is women who are like, tell me about your story, tell me what you learned. And so I'm excited to dive into that today.
Yeah, absolutely. I find as I continue to work with women that each one of us has a story, and usually it's a pain story. And when we start sharing with each other, I mean, one lady opens up and all of a sudden you've created a domino effect, and then everybody says, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one that feels that way. And they feel like they're not alone. It all of a sudden it opens them up, and then it opens another lady up, and then they all of a sudden have this support group and this tribe that they have support with.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest thing, is that feeling of connection and that feeling of being heard and being seen as well. And, you know, our work together was a slight hybrid of the work that I do with most of my immersion clients, is that we work together on your business as well. And I think that a lot of the like uncovering and shedding of old limiting beliefs and layers and, you know, the stuff that wasn't serving you really helped you to move forward in your business too. So I'm excited to kind of touch on that as well, because it seems like I've been attracting a lot more health coaches who are looking to, you know, break free from the last stuff that they've been working through, so they are able to then shine and help their clients at even greater and greater levels. But to start, let's go back to the beginning. You know, tell me about what life looked like for you before you started Immersion, and also, you know, if you want to get into the specifics related to your relationship with food and your relationship with your body and just how you were feeling, I think that's a great place for us to begin.
Yeah, when I kind of stumbled on you, but before I stumbled on your message through Facebook, I was in a place where I wasn't working out, which is weird for me because I was always an active person right from junior high school. I played on all the sports teams. I stayed active after school. I got into fitness classes and started working out that way and introduced myself to the gym. Started really teaching myself how to lift weights and stuff at that time. And then just really got out of it. I got my personal trainer certification back in 2013-ish, I think. And it took me on a ride that I wasn't expecting. I enjoyed it. I totally reinvented myself because I was always an admin person. I'm a bookkeeper by trade, and it's just something I'm good at. So when the kids kind of grew up and moved out of the house, I wanted to focus more on me, find something that I really enjoyed doing. And personal training with women and just helping them was something that just puts a fire in my belly. I love it. And so I did that for a while, but then it wasn't paying bills. So I ended up going back to a bookkeeper position and did that for about a year and a half, and it was not feeding my soul. I was drowning there. And when I left there just about a year ago, April 30th, it'll be a year that I left there. And I found you the summer of last year. So shortly after I came home, I found you. And I had stopped working out at that time. I wasn't eating properly. I was feeling sluggish. I was feeling, lack of a better word, I was feeling fat, which, you have those moments. Of course, when I was pregnant and after pregnant and all, kid stuff, I felt that. But getting active again is what I needed, and I enjoy doing it, and I know how it makes me feel. But when I stopped working out and it was quite a few months, and for me, that's way too long. And I don't even know what it was. I can't even remember how I found you or what it was that connected me, but your message was clear to me. And it wasn't just the working out. It was, I don't know, there was something about you that I needed in my life. I reached out to you, and I remember our first phone call with each other where I totally broke down. I was in not a great place, not only physically and wanting to resurrect my home-based bookkeeping business and resurrecting my personal training certification, but I was in a mess financially also. Marriage was not in great ways at that time either. There was a lot of things. I think it was just everything at once. My kids were gone, and it's still adjusting to that, and it was a lot. So the timing that I got with you, it was perfect. It was divine timing. I see that now, that you were what I needed at that time. Because like I said, that first phone call with you, I didn't even know you, and I bawled like a baby after that.
Yeah. I remember that as well. I remember our conversation. I remember how you had even mentioned that you had kind of gotten into that pattern, which I know a lot of women do, of just like buying all of these different programs and sort of having a metaphorical shelf of all of this digital stuff that you felt sort of overwhelmed by, because you were like, where do I start? I don't even know which one to focus on first. And then also there was a lot of shame attached to it too, because you're like, man, I invested all this money in this stuff that I'm not even using.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm one of those people that I was looking for something. I was definitely looking for something, and I was, I would see a program and it's like, oh yeah, this is going to make it better. Oh yeah, this looks really good. Oh, this one's speaking to me. And they were all a little different and maybe focused on something that weren't similar to the others. And it was just trying to make me a better person. But I wanted to do it all at once. I wanted to do it all now and feel better, and my life feel put together in 6 months. and that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So what do you think made Immersion or our conversation different? Like, what made you say, this is it? This is what I need now. I'm ready.
The way you were very gentle with the approach, for one, but you still seem to intuitively know when you were talking to me. And that's, like I said, that first phone call, but I know that wasn't the only time that I had shed a tear with you over the phone. I know there was a few times, and like I said, you're very gentle nature, but you wouldn't let me get away with not taking action on some of the stuff that I needed to do to break through, to shed some layers. I needed to shed some layers, and you kept reminding me about them on our next phone call, because sometimes we get off the phone and I'd write down notes, everything would be there, and then another, whatever it was, 2 weeks or so would go by, and I still hadn't taken action on that stuff. And you would call me on it. You called me on it, and I appreciate that, because it's easier when you're doing things on your own not to do things on your own.
Yeah. I believe that's really the greatest benefit of one-on-one coaching, is having that person who's not going to let you bump up against that fear or bump up against those that comfort zone, and then shrink back down. You know, it's someone that's going to be right there with you every step of the way to say, hey, remember when you said you wanted this? Remember how this is the thing that we together decided we were going to work through. So here's the path. Let's walk it together.
Yeah. I guess it's that reminder, and I guess I do that with my clients now. I mean, it was learning from you, and I kind of bring that same approach to now the clients that I work with, to the women I work with. Stay in touch. What did you say your why was when you started with me? It's the same thing. Kind of keep reminding them, and they fall off the path. You remind them about it. They get back on. They're all motivated again. But you know, in my own learning through this whole thing it's always something else going on. There's something else going on beneath what they're actually saying. So it's digging deeper. That's what you did. You dug deeper than I would have on my own.
Yeah. And I think that you mentioned that this is something that you then were able to turn around and use with your clients too. And I think that's so important. Like when we have that experience, we know like, oh my gosh, you know, when we're on the other side of it, we can see that, man, I'm doing that thing. I'm falling back into that pattern. And it's that repetition. It's that connection. It's that feeling of we're doing this together that is so important, that I think, you know, this is how we have that positive ripple effect. This is how we are the change maker, whether we're a personal trainer and we have our own business and we're helping other women, or we're a mom who's the nucleus of a family. This is the work that you can then turn around and share with, you know, whoever those people are that you care about the most. So it's like, it truly is the gift that keeps on giving.
It is. And you said it perfectly, the ripple effect. That's exactly what it is. I mean, what you showed me and shared with me and taught me, and what I'm still learning, and I still hear your voice in my head, I now share that with other people, and now I see their effect on their own circle of friends, of their family, of they're inspiring them, they're motivating them to you know, get moving, or you know, make those healthier choices, or whatever it is. They're inspiring other people in their own circle because of their work, starting with me and after I started with you. So I love seeing that ripple effect. It's so neat.
Yeah. So I looked back and I looked when our last session was, and it's been about 2 months since we finished up. And so I'd love to hear a little bit about what life looks like for you now, like any specific shifts or big changes that you've noticed since you finished up the coursework and our work together.
There's definitely been a shift. It's definitely mental, which I know everything is in the head. I mean, if we can get out of our own way and just do things without overthinking, we're unstoppable. And I see that not only in myself, but then also, like I said, with my clients too, is getting them to stop overthinking things. And I find, like I said, I hear you in my head all the time, which I love because it keeps reminding me to just keep going forward, taking those little action steps end up, you know, building to a big step. And I'm seeing that in my business now, where things are starting to finally flow in. My name is getting out there even more. My private Facebook group is growing. Continually trying to think of new ways to keep my group engaged, which continues to grow my business. So from there, you know, I get clients, or they purchase a program, or whatever it is that I'm doing. So it was taking those little steps, keeping them engaged, and it's my attitude. It's my attitude and how I react to things daily. And just keeping that positive mindset. It's a mindset thing, and it is a daily thing. And and I think it was you that actually said this to me. It was, who do I want to choose to show up as every single day? Who do I want that person to be? Whoever I want to be, show up as that person. That was my biggest thing.
I love that. Yeah. And the thing that you did that I thought was so cool was you decided to kind of go through this process kind of transparently with your business. So your business name is Fierce and Fit, and you have the private Facebook group, like you said, but you were publicly committing to challenges. And those challenges were fitness challenges where you were holding yourself accountable by posting photos of your workouts and really sharing about your journey, and also sharing about that, like, it's not a straight shot. You didn't, there was days where it was challenging for you, but you were committing to showing up for you and also showing up for people to inspire them and to do it so that they can see your transformation real time. And that was so cool, because I know for you, like, being seen was a big part of that, allowing yourself to be that expert, that person who's like, when I say expert, it's like really in quotations, because we all are experts of our own body and our own self, but like the expert in the sense of like, hey, I can show you how to do this, and also I can show you how to do this when I am a imperfectly perfect human being as well.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to show up because I wanted to make sure that people knew that, I'm a personal trainer and I'm a health coach, but I'm also human. So I still have those struggles. I still have those days where I am not making the healthier choices. I have those down days where I don't feel like working out. But I will show up. I will still show up. And that's the biggest thing too that I'm sharing with clients now that are struggling, is it's just showing up. You may go to the gym or go out for that run or whatever it is, and it may be the suckiest run ever or whatever it is, but you did amazing. You showed up. You still did it. You were still here. You showed up. And that's what's important. And then the next time you come, you're going to rock your workout. It's not going to be an issue. But that's the ebb and flow in life. That's the ins and outs, the ups and the downs. And, and I had mentioned the financial struggle there when I had started with you. And I also remember when I was still really struggling. Actually, it almost got worse when we ended our sessions together. But I had come to a decision with you, I believe it was still with you, that I had to make a decision whether to reach out for help, like almost professional help, to help me out in the situation that I had gotten myself into. And I did that, and I had started this program now where it has taken a lot of relief. It has taken a lot of weight off of me financially, monthly, and now my business is starting to grow. I'm attracting those clients that, those ideal clients that I love working with. Everything's coming in alignment. I guess that's the biggest thing. That's what it is I had to let go of my ego. That was it.
I think it's looking at it, and that really, we can apply that to the financial stuff. I know, so I really want to honor that you're being so open about this, because I know there are so many women who can relate to that, and we can also apply the same thing related to, our body and our weight and things like that, where we feel this immense amount of shame. And we just try not to look at it. We just try to ignore it. But it's almost like ignoring it creates even more negative, like, anxiety that just continues that cycle. Whereas if we can just decide, like, instead of just bumping up against it and then stuffing it, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to open myself up to the possibility of a solution that's going to make things easier and bring me some relief. And that, I think, was the biggest shift for you in saying, like, yeah, I need to do something. I need help. I'm open to getting that help. And then it created that positive shift into, moving from the problem focus to the solution focus.
Yeah, you know what? You just kind of gave me this huge light bulb, because you're right. It was, talking about my financial struggles. And yes, I've had my body image issues and food issues and all of that. But looking at that from the struggle that I've had financially, they can almost be in tandem. It's a parallel kind of thing there, where you look at your problem, whatever it is, whether it's financial, whether it's physically, you want to get working out, you want to choose healthier choices, but you're not, whatever your issue is and the problem, look at it. You got to go through it. You have to work your way through it. And once you're there, oh my gosh, the freedom, I guess, would be the word, that you feel lighter, but you have to push through. And it's not an overnight thing. I mean, yes, I still run into problems, whichever way you want to look at it, whether it is the food thing or the money thing, but I have to look at it, find a solution, deal with it, lesson learned, move on.
Yeah. So tell me how that's affected other areas of your life too, because I know you mentioned your marriage and relationship, and there was a lot of shame related to the financial stuff. Like, tell me a little bit more about how immersion in our work has affected other areas.
Yeah, you made me, I don't want to say made me, you had suggested and mentioned, to be open and honest with my husband about the financial situation. And because that was causing issues, okay, to be real honest, I was not honest with him. That's what it was. I was not being honest with him about what was going on, about what was happening. I was hiding everything. And so when it had to come out and I had to have the conversation with him, and it basically came down to I had to, like I couldn't hide it anymore. So yeah, I was actually forced into having to talk with him about it. And it was, again, the most freeing thing that happened. I got it off of me, and yes, I put it onto him, but at least we were able to, at least the cards were out on the table, we were able to talk about it.
Okay, so we lost connection there for a minute, but Dee was talking about how she had the conversation with her husband about finances, and it was freeing. You said that you felt like you put some of that on him, but it was freeing to have that open communication, and then I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah. Apologize for that. My internet stopped working on me. But yeah, it was just a conversation that had to happen, and it was very freeing. It took a lot of pressure off of me trying to figure it out myself. And that was the biggest thing, is that I was trying to do it myself. I was trying to fix my own mess by myself, without help, where I had to reach out. I had to, again, get that ego out of the way and reach out to him, let him know what was going on, reach out to the professional company that I did to help me out in the aspect, and very understanding. And so I'm just getting started in that program now to help me out, and it's been really, really good. It's helped me give up that control. And that's a big thing for me. It was giving up that control and trying to do everything by myself.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like, the lesson there is that sometimes, like I've heard women say, well, if all of the answers are inside of me, I should be able to do it myself, right? So I'm just going to try and go at it on my own. And I think that, like, in theory, that sounds great. Yeah. Like I have everything I need inside of me, but sometimes reaching out and asking for help, whether that's through a coach or, having an open conversation with your partner and saying, hey, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this on my own. I need your help. That is, like you said, so freeing, and also such a great way to have that connection and support, and feeling like, yeah, I'm not alone. It's okay for me to not have to be superwoman and take care of everything all by myself all the time. So I think that was a big lesson for you. Can you hear me, Dee? I don't know if is the connection okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So just jumping back in. Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
That's so weird. It just, like, entered again. Okay. So, so to wrap up, can you hear me okay? I don't know if I think it's I think the Wi-Fi is just a little bit like lagging. So maybe that's why the connection isn't perfect, but
maybe.
So just to kind of wrap up, there's 2 more questions I wanted to ask you. Number 1 is, what words of wisdom do you have for women on how to get the most out of the Immersion program?
To trust the process. Trust in you, because you do know what you're talking about. Listen to you, take your action steps, but trust the process and trust the program. Keep going, keep on it. And do the homework. Do the homework, because that's going to get you that digging deeper.
Yeah, sometimes I think women wonder, oh my gosh, like this feels uncomfortable, or I'm really going through a tough time, like as they move through immersion, not all the time, but sometimes. And I love the fact that you're saying that, because I want women to know that is part of the process. In fact, that is the process of transformation, is working through the tough stuff and the resistance, and sometimes we have resistance to doing the work. Sometimes we have resistance to doing the homework or listening and being completely open. And so I love that advice. Yeah,
it is. You have to work through it. And it's uncomfortable. It's not fun. And you are going to shed tears, and you are going to maybe get angry at yourself or the world or life or God or whatever. But you have to work through it, because what's on the other side, it's amazing. It's like coming into paradise. It's just, shedding, excuse my language, but you can bleep it out, but it's shedding the shit. That's what it is. It's getting rid of that stuff, so you're able to move on without dragging that stuff behind you.
Yes. And, I also say that, like, sometimes you're going to get angry at me and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's part of your stuff, your shit coming out, like that resistance is going to show up. And it's really those are the defining moments where you decide, like, am I willing to do this work and move through this, or am I going to let this be part of my story and hold me back?
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of it. You don't need it anymore, and it's not serving you.
So as a final question, what would you say is the cost of not doing immersion?
You're not going to change. You're going to stay exactly where you are. If you're not willing to put the work in, you're not willing to commit to it, then you're going to stay the same. That saying that it keeps coming up for me is, if you want change, you have to change. You have to start to do things differently every single day, whatever that change means for you, or that transformation, or whatever you want to switch in your life, to change in your life. You have to start to do things differently, or they're going to stay the same.
Yeah. And I ask that not from like a stance or a perspective of pressure, or saying like you have to do immersion.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes women want to do something, like they say like, oh my gosh, I feel that, yes, I've got to do this. But then when it comes time to make that decision and invest in themselves, or to take that first step, it's very easy to talk ourselves out of it. And so that's why I say, like, if you were to look back and you think about, man, what would be the cost of me not doing this work? Like, what if I would have just continued doing what I had been doing? You can see like what that sort of investment or that decision can be, this like powerful moment in time where we would decide, to take our power back or prioritize ourselves. So that's why I ask.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. It's taking our power back. And if I wouldn't have invested in this and invested in myself, I would not be where I am today. My business would not be where I am today. Where I am financially, and those breakthroughs, my marriage, is more open now. I am talking to him more, and yes, we always have stuff that comes up. That's just marriage, but I'm not hiding anymore. I'm being open about it, And it's been amazing. And I would not be where I am because of all the layers that I did shed with you for those 6 months. That helped, because I would not have done that on my own.
Yeah. And I think, again, that's the stuff that hearing from someone like you, who is maybe a few steps ahead of someone who's in that state where she's like, oh my gosh, I need to do something different and I'm ready, but I'm scared. I think that's so comforting to hear that, you're not alone, that, you continue to do the work even after the program. I've had so many women come back even, like 6 months later after finishing and completing and saying, oh my gosh, the transformation and the aha has just continued. So it's like the work is done after 6 months or a year, but it gets better and better and better if you're committed to doing that work.
Absolutely. It is scary, but you learn so much about yourself that you almost can't go back, because you know better. You know better, and you're just going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So just to wrap up, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure that women who are maybe struggling like you were in the beginning, like any sort of advice or anything you want to share with them?
Good question. I think I've said it all, but I just stop being stuck. Reach out for help, whatever that is for you. Just reach out, because it does make a difference, and it's huge. And as we talked about, it has that ripple effect, but the most important work is on yourself. That's what's going to keep changing, and you're going to keep growing. But reach out, get out of that rut.
Yes. Yeah. Stop bumping up against the scary stuff and then backing down.
Yeah. Go through it.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much, Dee, for taking the time today. I just want to acknowledge you for the work that you did. And I want to celebrate how, you were just so willing to show up. And like you said, like there were the times where you did kind of fall back into your old patterns or say, oh geez, I didn't have time to do this. But when we talk through it, you realize, okay, like I need to do this work. It is important. And I think that courage is so important. And I want to honor that and celebrate the work that you did, because it was so amazing to be able to support and witness your transformation. So
thank you. It was great. I can't, the way our paths crossed, it was definitely meant to be, and I was meant to be where I am now, and it helps. Like it definitely helped me be where I am now and continue to grow.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how things continue to unfold for you over the coming months, and with your business and with your everything, your personal transformation, all of it. So thank you. And again, I really appreciate you. And we'll end the interview there. And for everyone listening, keep an eye out. We're going to be doing these interviews fairly regularly. It's a part of a new series. So we will have another one soon. Take care.